Well, here we are in the pavilion of the Grosvenor Park. Now, I'm usually representing the old period. I'm usually Georgian amidst lots of 21st century people. But here I'm surrounded by artifacts that are much older than I am. But one person who isn't older than I am is certainly Julie Edwards, the Archaeological Officer for the Grosvenor Museum. So let's go and meet her. So, wow, Julie, what a vast array of finds. And I gather that these have all been gathered, pretty much most of them, fairly recently.
Yes, so we had a 4-week excavation, which we were running as a training excavation for the archaeology students at the university. Mm-hmm. And so we were excavating just in the area over there where the theatre is now. And we've been coming back to the park for a number of years. And so these are just a small number of this year's finds, and 1 or 2 from last September as well, when we were here for a couple of weeks. So the site, it's quite a complex site. We're just within the precinct that once surrounded St John's Church. Mm-hmm. So in the medieval period, it had quite a large precinct with a number of buildings, pretty much in a similar way to the cathedral does today. And at the dissolution, or just after the dissolution, those buildings were sold off to various people. And we think we're in the area of what was known as St Anne's. It was a chapel and possibly hospital of the Fraternity of St Anne, which was a charitable organisation to which anyone who was belonged to in Chester. It was quite wealthy, so they had a chapel there. And those buildings were acquired in the late 16th century by Sir Hugh Cholmondeley, who converted them into his Chester house. That was then destroyed in the Civil War. So we just about, I suppose, 3 foot below ground surface, we've got this thick demolition layer from the Civil War, and in that is all the debris from the late medieval and the 16th century buildings, plus lots of shot.
So, Julie, my eyes are taken by this piece. I don't suppose it's necessarily your star find by its sheer size, but perhaps it is.
Yeah, this caused a huge amount of excitement when it was found. It's Norman, or people call it Romanesque, and it's an architectural fragment showing this amazing face. And we think it would have been debris from the Church of St John the Baptist, which was rebuilt in 1075 as the Norman church and as the Norman Cathedral of Chester. And we were very excited to find this. We haven't found any bit of sculpture like this for many years in Chester, not from this period, so it was really exciting to find. We think it was on the site because it was either part of debris from the demolition of part of the church just after the dissolution, or it may have found its way there at the time of the Civil War, because it was sitting on top, just underneath the Civil War destruction layer and on top of a medieval ditch fill. So it's an amazing thing to find. It had umpteen likes on Facebook from people all over Europe who were saying how superb it was, so it's really good.
So, Julie, to the untrained eye, this is just a collection of bones, presumably animal bones, but you're going to find a lot more significance to them, I'm sure.
Yeah, we've been finding lots of bone. Some of it's animal bone, fish and bird bones, and some of it's from bones that would have been very choice cuts of meat. And in the 16th century, wealthy people had these huge banquets, and it wasn't just the quantity of meat that they had, but it was the variety that was important as well. And our other star find from this year is this bone, which is from the type of mammal known as a cetacean. So cetaceans are whales, dolphins and porpoises, and this bone is a vertebra from a dolphin or porpoise. And so people did eat. There's historical records of porpoises being eaten in the 16th century. Queen Elizabeth I was quite partial to roast porpoise, and bones of cetaceans are really only found on high status sites. So it's just another example of the wealth, the type of people that would have been living on the site. So it could well have been the remains of Sir Hugh Cholmondeley's dinner, or one of his friends.
Amazing. Well, Julie, thank you so much for bringing all these finds to life for me. And not only for me, but for everyone enjoying the Chester Heritage Festival.